and it's just crazy. So I bought one for my wife.
These are my do not microwave.
She loves it. So beyond that, there are little QR codes on the bottom and gems that you can check to designate where you would like to have it. So you have a hard copy, which is beautiful to be present in a meeting versus into your device, but yet it's also awesome to have that digital copy for later. So professionally, I like it for that respect. For students, and the way Subpoena used it, it's just a little video. I'll let you watch what, well, I think it's only 50 seconds, so I think
And
it's
here are
worth
the little gems across the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
Also compatible with the ROCKETBOOK app. So before you wipe your notes off the page, you can blast them online to your favorite cloud services. In a fraction of a second, ROCKETBOOK Machine also compatible with the ROCKETBOOK app. So before you wipe your notes off the page, you can blast them online to your favorite cloud services.
And
in
it
a
is that
fraction of a
fast.
second, ROCKETBOOK Machine Vision scans, enhances, and sends each page to the specific destination they belong on the cloud services you already use. Each Everlast notebook page has 7 symbols. Set up the ROCKETBOOK app to assign each symbol to a location within Dropbox, Google Docs, Evernote, or many other services. You could configure your Diamond to send meeting notes directly to your shared team folder in Dropbox. Or students could configure their star symbol to send notes right to a math folder in Google Drive. So you can make your list, break out that diagram, or color in that drawing. Then tomorrow, start your day with a brand new notebook.
Okay, so that is two of the app is free. The book you have to buy, but if you click on this, they have a bunch of free to print sheets with the QR code and the gems on the bottom. And the way I use it is with our engineering notebook. And again, this is formative checking for practice on the most part that I use it. The way Subpoena used it, she had them at, like with, for instance, graphing. This is the paper that she would have them use, making darn sure, she said, you have to have your name in the appropriate spot so you can read it. Otherwise, I can't give you credit, because when you scan it, it only time stamps it. It doesn't do it by student, so there is that glitch, but she would do that. And for formative things, so often you're looking to, you skim through it quickly, and you have those half a dozen students that you're going to be targeting because you want to make sure they know how to do it. Also, there's digital evidence, but the way I do it is I've taken it, and I got some for you to take, is I've expanded them, and you can see I've got a folder, and it's like 1.2b, and they bring their engineering notebook up. And rather than walking around and checking, I just had never figured out a way, because when you have 31 students, here, let's do this one that has a little, and I've got it big enough so that it will stay, or it fits nicely. And then I'll scan it, and then I'll show you what it looks like. And I've got the QR code going to my 1.2b. And it goes, and it's that quick.
So I'm gonna just, where's my, okay.
And then it'll give me the option to send, and then it sends it to my designated folder, which I'll show you after Susan's.
Right. So what's nice is it syncs straight to your drive. So here's my example. I wanted students to I wanted to see their final project. I wanted to be able to keep a copy of it if the students forgot to take a picture, or if I wanted to record really fast as they were flying their rockets, what their maximum distance was. They would just come over to me after they flew their rocket. We would write the distance on. I'd snap a picture of their rocket. This is great also if you're doing anything with portfolios and kids need pictures that are easily shareable of projects, etc. And I set up in my drive a specific folder. So you'll see this is my flight, space, and electricity for this year. Then I have a separate folder for each individual class, and then within that class, I have a ROCKETBOOK folder, so that all of my things that I send to ROCKETBOOK will automatically go into that folder. So as you can see in this particular class, here's 3 examples. I have some student examples of how they built electrical circuits. This is great, like if students are absent too, like here are some samples. So if you're looking for examples or exemplars to be able to show students, to keep track of those. And then of course, these are their team rocket designs, so that if I don't have to be scribbling right as they're doing their flights, I can just upload this into my doc and then go back and then I can grade them. Yes.
So the QR code is the one that's set to that class? It's a different QR code for a different class then?
Correct.
Okay.
So you select where it goes. Okay, you can back up.
Okay, so, let's see.
Just, yeah, no, go back.
So what I literally do, and what you can either set it up on your device, and obviously you want to, if you use your device and you want it, I don't let kids use my device, even the best ones. But I connect it to my school Google Apps for Education Drive account. But I found, and we were talking, this is my son's Verizon tablet that he no longer uses, and I was like, I'll use it. Old burner phone that you just connect to Wi-Fi. And what I do is, and I've got some Nexus 7 tablets that I just have the kids, and it's like, okay, it's time to come up, and they bring theirs up, they put it on the center, they fold it and they put it on the center here, and they hold it over the top, and they scan it. That way I can be available to work with students. I'm not taking an extra 5-10 minutes walking around, and then it also for classroom management. And what it looks like on the back end, and then I'll show you is, so then when I go to look at them, well this is, let's see what this is. Let me go to the one that I just did.
And you can set it up to send each page as an individual thing. We generally set it up to merge it all into one document, so one assignment becomes one large PDF with multiple pages in. But you can send it as each individual item if you would like. It just depends on whether or not you want one document or one PDF for a whole class full of students, or if you want each student to have their own PDF. So you kind of have to decide that.
So going to the engineering notebook side, this is the one that was when I was demonstrating for this. So this, I look through here, I want to find Miguel has his name in the corner. I can scroll down and look at his work and see what he's done, and then I can just quickly, on any device I can scan and see that they have the basic information that is needed. Hopefully saving you time, and can distribute well. Let me show the last part here. Am I missing anything?
Let's go back really quick. The one thing that you for sure will need is the ROCKETBOOK app. So go back one more, I think. And so you can download the app from iTunes, Android Web Store, okay, so wherever it is, but you need that app on your phone or whatever device you're using, because that's where you'll actually set up each individual thing. So you'll I signed up with my school email. Your school email becomes the default for everything. So before you start scanning things, make sure you set up those individual folders. Do you want to just go to your app and show them how you do that?
That is the app. And it shows my most recent, but when I go up here to the top, it's a really user-friendly app.
So we go to destinations, and this is where you're setting where you want things to go. So this is where you're either putting in your classes, if you want it to go to your email, and like you can see engineering notebook, he's got a folder set up. So this is where you're selecting where each of the gems or each of the lucky charms or whatever you want to call it goes. Yes?
Did I see in the picture that you X'd out the gem on the bottom of the paper, and
Yep,
that's
and
how
that's
it
how you tell
identifies it?
How it knows where it's going.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like,
Oops, all right.
Sorry, Jim.
And I'm the ultimate like reuser person, so I was like, okay, how can I make this work? So the sheet protectors,
Yeah.
okay, a lot of the sheet protectors are really shiny, so you get this weird shine off of them, but they're the bubbly matte ones, and you can actually stick this inside, then you can write on the sheet protector with whiteboard marker. So then I just X it off with whiteboard marker, so I only need one of these sheets. And for like small things, I only need one of these sheets and my little page protector and a whiteboard marker, and then I can just keep reusing it over and over again. With the larger ones, Dean just has a class set, so like one for each of his classes. So he's got, what, 6 sections or however many sections he has. Then he just has one selected for each one, it's pre-marked off, and then he just pulls out the one for that class, and that's how you make it work. Also, Post-it notes work really well, so, or we've played around with just sticking a piece of tape on, like a piece of packing tape, and then being able to write and erase off of it. So I think there are a lot of ways that you can tweak if you have an aversion to having multiple pieces of paper around.
Yeah, Susan found a nice way with the non-glare protector sheets, because glare can be an issue reading the QR code, for sure. So, the hope is to save you some time with formative work, if it's and it's a way that you have digital record to share with them, review with them, versus carrying the papers around all the time. And also professionally, it works well. I just talked to Mary Broderon, and the way I used it also is with the bigger ones, you get those, let's use the ski trip that's happening. You know, your advisory, before you hand off those sheets, and if you are a type A person like someone standing up in front of you, I want to make sure I've got a backup copy. So sometimes I got the parent copy, the student copy, whatever it is, I just scan it, boom, I've got it, it's quick, it's easy, then it's there also. So there's multiple factors, and there's in music, where the free ones too, there's music scales and stuff on it too.
Like the music bars.
That just hit me as you raised your hand. Go ahead, Daniel.
This seems to be an easier way than a Schoology assignment, because in Schoology you're clicking on everyone's assignment, going back and forth, where this would just allow all the assignments to be on one PDF where you scroll through.
Yes.
Seems like it would be a time saver that way. Have you noticed that?
And the con is with Schoology is if it's a graded assignment, you know, you have to toggle back and forth. But again, I just think for formative, that check off of checking for understanding, while you can set up small groups or whatever classroom manage however you want, it's a slick way to save you time.
Well, and then you can be constantly pulling up student work and referencing, okay, so when you turned in this formative, here are the things that I noticed. You know, these students are really doing a really nice job of putting on dimensions, and then you can pull up a couple examples. So they're actually seeing each other's work. I think another way, and why we added this other tool that we're going to talk about in a moment, which is this Google Photos movie, is that Tim's big thing this year is being able to tell our own story. And so by having student work and by being able to have a PDF of things, to be able to send parents like, oh, here's an example of some of the work that we're doing in class today. It doesn't have to, if you want to block off what student it is or whatever, but again, if you're sending out a blast to parents about, hey, here's what's going on, or, oh, look at what we did last week, it's a great way to self-promote what's going on in your class. Because if we don't tell our own stories, like Tim was talking about this year,